Well, good evening, YouTube. My name is Tim, and this is my channel here on the wonderful YouTube. If you've just stumbled upon this, I guess you're in for a treat because I don't do a lot of these talking head videos. I just don't really have much to say, I guess. Or I do have a lot to say, but I just prefer that you guys don't have to listen to it. But anyway, I've got an unboxing video for you today. This past Saturday was the Chicago Drum Show in St. Charles, Illinois. And I live in Peoria, Illinois. And so that's about a little over 2-hour drive. And so the past couple years I've been going up there. And it's really great. Lots of little drum companies up there that have incredible sort of, I call it like handcrafted snare drums and things like that. But then there's also some, the bigger companies, Gretsch, Craviato, Pearl, Sonar. They're all up there. And typically I come back with probably a snare drum, cymbals, something. And there was a few things up there that really caught my eye. But I'm at the stage in my life, and if you've been following this channel for a long time, you've noticed there's not as many live clips of me playing out, in clubs and bars with bands and festivals and stuff as I used to post. That was kind of where the beginning of this channel started, and it's just now mainly me at home working on studio projects. So the wonderful Shure brothers, not the Shure brothers were there, but the Shure company was there with their microphones, and they've got a new KSM line, well, it's relatively new, where they've redesigned all the microphones in that line. And so I just had to ask the Shure guy, what kind of deal can you make me here at the show? And he was great, and we talked about the new microphones and all that's different about them and what's the same. And I got a great discount to order some microphones that day. So anyway, they shipped them here this week, and I pulled them out of the shipping box, and I've got the individual boxes here. But I bought a pair of the new KSM32s, and they call it the it's the HM model, which is just the hard mount. I've got 4 more KSM32s, which I use all over the studio. And I've got the shock mounts. And honestly, I don't use a shock mount. So there's no sense of paying the extra for the shock mounts. And honestly, if you're recording drums and you have a pretty, secure room where the floor is solid and everything, I said, unless you're recording vocals on these microphones, I don't think the shock mount is really that necessary. But that's my opinion, which doesn't really matter much anyway. So anyway, I'm going to show you the old model Shure KSM32 for those that aren't familiar. But it's an all metal housing. It's really heavy, and if you put these on boom stands and you're putting them over the kit, they can get a little dicey with wanting to tip over. You got to have some really good stands. It's not like a really light condenser mic. Now the new version is very light and very compact. So I'm anxious to see, just in use, practical use, how this is going to work. But in reality, I'm going to put these up, take these down off my kit, put the new ones up, and I've got a laser measurement where I measure them equidistant from the snare drum. And then the room mics, same thing, KSM32s, equidistant from the snare drum to help with phase and that stereo image, to just get a good stereo image. So anyway, again, this is the big boy. They call it their champagne finish. Now, all the new KSM32s only come in the black finish. They don't have, maybe at some point they'll put out some special editions in some special finishes. But I really do like the sort of champagne metal housing of these. It was always, to me, really classy. And before I used the KSM32s as overheads, I had a pair of KSM27s, which were slightly smaller and a little bit lighter. And so those worked great gigging. It was easy just to throw them up. But then eventually I got a pair of 32s and replaced those with the 32s. And then when I started doing more recording at home, some 32s for the rooms. So anyway, I know I'm just rambling on here about KSM32s. But anyway, I'm going to open this box. And again, this is the version with the hard mount and no shock mount. So I'm going to try to hold this up so you can see. So we got our papers, which are falling on the floor, and honestly, the KSMs came with either a hard case. It was like a, I don't want to say aluminum because I don't think it was aluminum. I think it was some sort of cheaper metal to look like aluminum. And then one of the other pairs that I got came with this, what I call like a softer case, soft hard case. Horn players know that this case is pretty common for carrying your trumpet or sax around, where it's mostly hard, but it's soft and light. So, but that's kind of what I can relate it to. If anybody knows kind of what I'm talking about. I think they call them Protect cases for woodwinds and stuff, but that's kind of like what this is. And I really like that because I don't know, there's something about a fake sort of ATA flight case for me that just doesn't cut it. If you're going to make it look like a flight case, really put the energy into making it as robust as if you really called a star case or something and had them make you a case. But anyway, that's off topic. So let's see what is in there and how it's packaged. Okay. So again, it's nice that they give the windscreen included because that was an add-on for the old series, which would run maybe like $30 a piece or something like that. So it's nice that they decided to include that. And you do need that custom windscreen because, all these mics have a different form factor, and you can try to put some universal stuff on there, but it never really works as well. Okay. Then we got one of these wonderful, I think they call it like the metric microphone stand adapter, which also works, a lot of people don't know this. If you have a cymbal stand, just a standard threaded cymbal stand from Pearl, DW, whatever, this thread should work in there. So if you've got your mic clip and if you've got a cymbal stand laying around and you want to use that for a microphone stand, you can thread this in the microphone insert and use your cymbal stand as a microphone stand. And so here is the new KSM32, which already has the mount threaded on it, which is nice. And here it is. So it looks vastly different. It's kind of looks like their SM, I think it's SM7B, the broadcast microphone. And so anyway, but here it is, round. It's got the swivel adapter that comes off. And I don't know if this is a warning label or what. No warning label, but it does have a QR code on here. I'm going to be a rebel and just pull this protective thing off. And but anyway, you can tell the difference here between the two. So I've got the old and the new. The old is, I mean, they're slightly bigger, but this they're definitely it's at least half the weight of the old one. So that's going to be great for mounting it in as overheads because you're going to have that boom kind of hanging over the kit, and the weight won't be pulling down on it. So anyway, it has the 3-position bass roll off. So there's flat, and I really can't tell you what the cutoff is, but I think there's like 100 hertz, and then there's maybe 150 hertz roll off, and then a 15 decibel pad. So it's the same as the other one. So you can see the old one's got the roll-off switches, which you can see I've got it set kind of to the extreme level because they're overheads, and I really don't need a lot of low frequency going into those. I'm mainly trying to capture the brilliance of the cymbals and the brilliance of the rest of the drums. I'm not one that kind of just does kick and overheads. I like the sound of a close mic tom and stuff like that. So, but anyway, and then there's the there's that on the new one. So same controls. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go play just a simple groove. I'm going to play a couple passes with the old ones up, and then I'm going to switch to the new ones. And then you guys can just be the judge of, is it the same? Is it different? Do you like one or the other? So I'm looking forward to it. I haven't bought any new microphones in quite a while. I can honestly say that. My wife should be happy. I think the last time I bought some microphones was at the Sweetwater Gear Fest a couple summers ago. And so anyway, I'm going to put these up. We're going to see what the sound difference is, and you guys can let me know what you think. All right.